Hello and welcome everyone, this is Type V3 and I love orbital frames. That's why today we're taking a look at the Revoltech Anubis from the Zone of the Enders series. Now this character, for those who don't know, is of course the main antagonist in the sequel, The Second Runner. A brown and gold paint scheme envelop most of this figure, and black and white highlights help to accentuate its very sleek design. I love the detailing and little panel lining that's been put throughout the figure, especially on the abdomen. It looks like he has gold scales. The dog-like inspired head sculpt is probably my favorite thing on Anubis. I like the tall, thin, pointy ears and bright red eyes. It looks like a demonic canine of sorts. However, I do think that the figure could have used a bit more 3D molding as opposed to the simple 2D panel line work. I just think that it would have popped a little bit more, particularly in the shoulders. Now, for all you eagle-eyed viewers out there, you'll notice that Anubis has been on a stand this whole time, and that's because unlike Jehuty, this one doesn't come with any sort of heel spurs. And that's probably the biggest disappointment for this figure, but it's something you can easily look over. Unsurprisingly, Revoltech Anubis has some pretty good articulation. To start things off, he's got a Revoltech joint in his head that can go pretty extended, and if you want, the neck has a joint in it as well, so that's pretty cool. The only issue is that if you bend his neck too far, there is a gap there, which can kind of break the illusion of this robot. He also has an ab crunch right there, a waist swivel, Revoltech jointed shoulders, and these here are connected to it, so it's not a separate piece. There is a bicep swivel joint in the elbow, and really small Revoltech joints in the wrists. The hips are on Revoltech joints as well, and the knees are reverse knees, but no Revoltech joint here, just a swivel and a hinge, and these are pretty cool. They're pretty limited in how far they can bend, and the other thing too is they're pretty loose, so depending on certain poses, they will just tend to flop around, so gotta watch out for that. And lastly, a Revoltech joint in his tail. So this is a nice little touch. You can turn around and swivel whichever way you want. So as a whole, yeah, there's a lot of good joints here. The only problem is the Revoltech joints themselves can be a little bit finicky at times. I wish there was a little bit more clicks within them, but so far I have no major complaints with it. In terms of accessories, Anubis actually doesn't come with a whole lot. In fact, when it comes to hands, the only two you get are the two that are attached to him, so if you like different sort of pointing fingers or open palm stuff, don't expect that with this guy. He does come with two weapons, and one of them is a spear. Now the spear is easily attachable. It can go into either hand via a little peg hole, and it snaps on and stays tight. Spear in hand, Anubis finally looks like he's ready to take on someone in a fight. I absolutely love how it's ridiculously long, and even though it is made of a small, thin plastic, it can definitely pass off as being some sort of metal shaft. Or maybe just a trick of the eyes. I don't really know. Either way, the tip looks cool. Now the second accessory is actually a bit more complicated. You have to modify the stand itself and then replace it with the whole other piece. Next, after attaching the original figure, you have the completed version of Anubis, and this is how the figure was meant to be displayed. Wings and backpack, however you want to look at it, all in its glory, and I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Now in the game, these thrusters or wings are supposed to be sort of revolving around the Anubis figure, but because you can't really break physics with toys, they've just integrated part of the stand, so as you can tell, these clear pieces are supposed to be invisible, and now it's an integral part of the stand. Of course, these have their own method of articulation. As you can see, they're each on Revoltech joints here, and of course at the base as well. And each of them can open up. Now, unfortunately, there is no thruster option or plug-in that you could put in here, but it's honestly nothing that's too missed. The only difference is the ones in the middle don't have a clear piece. Instead, they have double hinged Revoltech joints to simulate the I guess plastic piece that this is. But that's really all there is for the articulation, but you can come up with some creative poses. One of the first things to note is that the wings can fully swing around and cover the entire figure as a sort of shield, cape, or cloak, however you want to look at it. This is how Anubis is mainly seen throughout the game when he's not really in combat or just flying around. Now, of course, you can open them up and then pull off some other more spectacular poses, but this is where the main issue of the figure comes in. The Revoltech joints on this set is just so finicky and so hard to deal with or manage that you end up spending a whole lot of wasted time trying to get these figures to pose in the correct position. Then there's the issue of it just being incredibly back heavy. These wings, they keep forcing the stand to tilt back or forward, and it kind of is a big detriment to the figure overall. They're also the reason that this figure doesn't come with any major accessories or whatnot, because there's just enough plastic here to cover off what would have been another figure. Overall, I think I like Revoltech Anubis a bit more than I should. Between his finicky Revoltech joints and a premium price, he's not quite perfect, and with the upcoming Kotobukiya model kits, we'll see if this figure was worth it in the long run. However, if you like Zone of the Enders, or if you just have Jehuty, then the main issue still stands. If you got a good guy, you need a bad guy, and that's probably the main reason why you should pick him up. Anyways, this has been Type V3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.